I hope you're ready for this week's Wham Bam Security Cam episode because we've got some crazy stuff lined up. Crashes, break-ins, and some furry or not so furry friends. David and his wife were at home watching TV when they heard a crash in their garage. This was the last thing they were expecting to find when they went to investigate. Their intoxicated neighbor had backed out of his driveway and right into David's wife's Honda parked on the street, knocking over a sold sign as well. He didn't stop there, flooring it into David's BMW before hitting their garage door. Not only was the door completely smashed in, but David's motorcycle in the garage was also damaged. The guy decided to get back on the street for a moment before veering into someone else's yard, hitting their fence on the driver's side. This would be his undoing as he got 2 flat tires moments later, forcing him to stop just down the road. While he was examining his flat tires, another neighbor took his keys from the ignition before he could try to drive off again. Both David's and his wife's cars were totaled, but the motorcycle was able to be fixed and it's still working to this day. This happened last Mother's Day and also involves an impaired driver. Allegedly, Declan's neighbor's son had been sitting in his car for several hours, relaxing. Suddenly, he floored his car right into Declan's sister's brand new Subaru Impreza. He promptly decided it was time to leave before fleeing the scene. If it hadn't been for Declan's security camera, they would have never known what had happened. A police report was filed, but the guy was never charged with anything. His mom apologized profusely for what happened and made sure everything was taken care of. Declan says he felt bad for her since this happened on Mother's Day of all days. What a terrible Mother's Day gift. All that over a freshly painted fence. Brad co-owns an apartment complex, and this tenant was upset that Brad had painted a fence, which he had permission from the other owner to do. After talking with him, it turned out the tenant thought the camera was pointing too much in his direction, and there were also other issues he was unhappy about. In the end, everything was settled after Brad gave him a formal letter requiring him to pay for a new camera to avoid getting the police involved. Devin had recently gotten home after riding his mountain bike with some friends. His garage door had only been left open for 3 minutes after his brother had been in the garage with a friend. This guy walked up, looked around for a moment, and promptly grabbed, you guessed it, Devin's mountain bike. He then rode off into the night. Devin didn't even notice it was gone until the next evening when he was going to ride it again and couldn't find it. Devin filed a police report, but he never saw his bike again, so a couple of weeks later, he got a new one. It's time for this week's Cuteness Capture. Hey, this must be the wrong clip. Who edits these things? I guess some people might find this creature cute. Okay, now we've got something a little cuter, but maybe just as dangerous. Erica says a bobcat came to check out her chicken coop. Luckily, it stayed outside and no chickens were harmed. The bobcat was only seen on camera for 2 nights before it disappeared. See the island in the middle of the street in front of Chris's house? Keep an eye on it. A driver ran over a tree before narrowly missing another one and a parked car. Chris says this happens all the time. He even sent us another clip of a different driver doing the same thing in the opposite direction. In both cases, the drivers carried on like nothing had happened. Check out this garbage truck with some serious attitude. There's gotta be some sort of joke here. Put yours in the comments. Whatever went wrong here, the worker got out and fixed the issue. One night, this fox decided to investigate Christian's porch. Little did he know there was a guard on duty. Christian's cat held his ground even when the fox scolded him. This fearsome pet could never be accused of being a scaredy cat. Eventually, both the fox and the cat went their separate ways. Here's a submission that does feature a scaredy cat. Andrew's partner Ishmael wasn't feeling well and was resting on the couch. He sniffled at the same moment Andrew's cat Maya was sauntering by. Maya launched into the air while another cat looked on. After realizing there was nothing to be afraid of, she went back to doing whatever cats do.